So today we're going to be looking at some isosceles and equilateral triangles.
What?
So make sure you guys are following along, and because we're starting our lesson, headphones out.
Headphones out,
Please.
please. Cut it out.
Okay.
Headphones out.
Been
please.
3 days and I don't know.
Tyler, all the way out. All the way out. Oh, then I'll take my headphones back.
Just kidding.
That's what I
Just
thought.
kidding.
All right, so we're going to be looking at isosceles and equilateral triangles today. Chloe, come on down. All the way. Keep it going. I believe in you. There we go. Okay, so we're going to be looking at isosceles triangles. So, if two sides of a triangle are congruent, so I've got AB, CB right here. If these are congruent, then we have a couple things going on. If I have two sides in a triangle are congruent, I also have two angles, and that's these two angles down here. They are also going to be congruent. This is called an isosceles triangle. I spell this wrong all the time. So this, I copied this from the book. This is the real way to spell it. If it's not like this, just tell me and I'll fix it. I think I've got them all fixed, but every now and then I will like add a slide and I spell it wrong. It's isosceles. But if you're going to talk about isosceles triangle, you can abbreviate it as ISOS. That's fine. Isos. Or isosceles. What isosceles triangles mean is that we have two congruent sides and two congruent angles. We can use this in some proofs.
What's the? Is there a triangle when all three of them are the same?
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Ooh.
Don't you worry, Chloe. I can tell how excited you are for this.
I'm ecstatic.
So, in an isosceles triangle, I got two congruent sides and I got two congruent angles. So if I start out knowing two sides, I know I've got two angles. And then the opposite is also true. If I have two angles are congruent, so for example, I have 30, and then I've got this angle x over here, then the sides are equal also. So because I have these two angles, I know I have two sides. I know they're there. And I kind of messed this up earlier. I was moving these around, and these letters should actually be inside here to show these angles. So if I'm looking at this triangle here, like y is inside here, x is this one right here. 30 and x are congruent because they are what are called the base angles of my isosceles triangle. So the base angles are the two that are same. They happen to be on the bottom. They aren't always though. Sometimes these are rotated around. So my two base angles are the same. So angle 30 is going to equal x.
Why?
And then if I'm going to find angle y over here, I can go through and find that.
They're not on your ears though. Yeah.
Okay, all the way on. All the way. South Korea. So Chloe, help me out now. How many degrees are in a triangle?
20.
180.
So how can I find this angle y right here?
30 plus. No, 60 minus 180.
Other way around, 180 minus 60. So there are 180 degrees in a triangle. I know this is 30, that's 30. I can find y by going 180 minus 30 minus 30. Same thing as 180 minus 60, which is 120. So it is my y. And this y up here, it is the angle off on its own. That is called the vertex angle. So my base angles are the two that are the same. Vertex is the one that's different. And then I can find xy over here because if I have two base angles, so when we look at these, my two base angles are here, which means my two sides that are the same are directly opposite of these base angles. So if these are my two base angles, my two sides are going to be the same. So xy over here is going to be 3 because this left side is 3
Oh, yeah?
Wait, but they have the dash lines, so that means they're the same angle.
because I put them in there. It started out like this. Started out like that. And then I put the dash lines in because I know it's congruent. Because if I have an isosceles, and I've got two congruent angles, I've got two congruent sides. And they are opposite of our base angles, so we just go directly opposite the triangle. Directly opposite. So we can actually do a couple of proofs with these now. We're going to do this first one here. So on this one, we're going to prove these two triangles are congruent. So I'm actually going to let you guys do this. Actually, you know what?
It's in class.
Actually, no. Let's change it around slightly. I want you to find. Let's actually, instead of making the two-column proof, let's actually just practice finding missing parts. I want you to find all missing sides and angles.
I can't do that.
Make it a little easier. So I'll tell you this right now. These two triangles are congruent. I want you to find all missing sides and angles. Oh wait, put it away.
It's an eraser.
And don't throw off and distract people who are working.
Kylie wasn't working. She was just there. She was looking at me already.
Mm-hmm.
You made me
She
mess
was
up.
waiting for me to do something.
Finding all missing
Hey,
sides.
Goki,
Why do you have all these
weren't you
McDonald's
talking?
cups?
The freshman league.
Yeah, I just wrote that.
If I have any left, yeah.
So they just leave them?
Because they can't have my lunch.
Just threw me under the bus.
So they put them on this.
Sis.
Alright, you guys should be looking
How much did you guys
on
win
our
by
two
last
triangles up here. They are congruent. I want you to find all missing sides and angles. So find them. There's a couple missing angles, there's a couple missing sides.
They both cost equal 130.
50.
Really?
Because they're congruent, right?
Yeah. So Z equals 130, A equals 130. What else? I'm done. It's easy. Huh?
Converse.
This. That's pretty much it.
I don't know how to prove these.
My handwriting's
Do
so
that there
today.
for Butch.
Yes.
Easy.
You didn't
Well, I
have
got
to do the
that
X
now.
thing. I just did that
It's
to
just the
like,
question says,
make it look like
complete each statement, explain why it's true.
Mr. O.
I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
yeah, equals A equals
and
130.
what answers did you get, Caleb?
I didn't.
That's what I thought.
You're both.
Please, Chloe.
Oh, Chloe is so
Yeah,
quiet up there.
Same numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually,
Z equals 130. Y equals 25. 4 is
Not your game, yeah.
4.
He doesn't. There's no game on his computer. What are you talking about?
Pushing it. Better watch out. We'll give you another 30 seconds, then we're going over them.
I'll give you another 25.
Are you gonna tell my
Same
mom?
thing, just add more steps.
So I'm just going to give you 5 seconds then.
Yeah, give me 5 seconds.
Hey, Mr. Goki, are my answers right? Can you
I
come
don't
on?
know, we'll see.
Your
in a minute.
eraser
No, can you
sucks.
please look?
No,
Why not?
because you're bugging me.
I told you I was in a mood today.
You're always in a mood.
Hey, you have an eraser, Goki?
Don't you worry, Tiana.
Hey, did Sophie make that brew?
That was a little thing there.
I
I don't remember what it was.
I don't know if that big of an eraser.
That's what I got.
I have an eraser. Do you want to borrow it?
Yes.
Cheats.
All right, let's get started. Tyler, give me a piece we're missing in
You have
here.
an eraser I can keep?
Oh, I guess we haven't actually learned how to find missing sides of triangles. Oh well. Keep going. Give me a piece we're missing.
See? We're missing 3.
Yeah, what is it?
You was
Yeah,
there.
that's the easy one. Okay, let's keep going. Mick, give me something else we're missing.
My hair. A equals 130.
Yeah, 130.
I'm missing the.
I almost said 135 for a second. Okay, Kylie, give me something else we're missing.
The A, B is congruent to
Yep. And so what's it going to be? 4. Yeah. And I forgot about this. We haven't actually learned how to do this part yet, so don't worry about that. All right, on this next one, Ryan, give me a piece in this right triangle we're missing.
Y equals 25.
Joseph, give me another piece we're missing.
130.
Yep. Tiana, give me another piece we're missing. One more we can find.
Which triangle are we on that one?
Right side.
X and Z is congruent to 4.
Let her get it.
Just too boring to listen.
Oh,
It's just the same thing, it's just add extra steps.
would it be X, Z?
Uh-huh.
That
what-
line would be 4?
Yep, it would be. So, even though our vertex angle isn't on the top, that's fine. It just, this triangle got rotated a little bit, and that's fine.
Not really.
So some of what you're doing today is going to be finding or making proofs.
Does the base count? Like, are we trying to find the base?
No, because we haven't learned how to do that yet.
Can we learn?
Maybe. If we get that far. We start talking about sine. Actually, no, we would need right triangles for that.
Oh, is that the one when all the sides are the same?
Now we're doing that next. Right triangle means we have a
She
90
just
degree
really
angle.
wants to.
Don't worry, we're doing that right now.
You like these pens?
Okay, so we looked at isosceles triangles. We're also going to look at...
Are we gonna look at
Equilateral
scalene triangles too?
No.
Didn't we?
So we're going to look at equilateral triangles here. So an equilateral triangle means all three sides are equal. So equilateral means all three sides are equal. You getting these notes, Mama?
At least that's what I last remembered.
I'm getting there.
Good.
Is that Spotify?
Yeah.
Look it up. Look it up.
Not very lessons, maybe afterwards.
You got premium?
You know.
He's lying.
Ah.
Fine.
Okay, so if I have an equilateral triangle, there's actually also something special with it. If it is equilateral, then it also has three equal sides. Or excuse me, three equal angles. Equilateral means all sides. It also has three congruent angles. So all three angles are going to be equal to each other. And that is called, and I have a hard time saying this, I'm getting better. That is called equiangular. Equiangular. Yeah, I can't say the word very well. Sure, good enough. Equiangular. I can't do that. E and ang together. That my mouth doesn't work that way. But that means all angles
Oh
are
yeah,
equal.
Yeah.
And that just means all angles are equal. So if it's equilateral, it is also equiangular. And the reverse is also true. If a triangle is equiangular, like XYZ right here, it is also equilateral. So if you got one, you got the other. So if it's equilateral, it is also equiangular.
Oh wait,
Well, that time wasn't too bad.
it looks like a little face with the mustache.
Where?
Oh.
Where?
I get
Where do you see
it.
a
I
face
get
with a mustache?
it.
I don't know.
Chinese man.
No
Better makes it.
I'm
All
okay
right,
with that.
so we're gonna look at here. If this triangle is equilateral, we
Has
want
to
to know
be.
how many degrees are in each angle. So you know what? Let's actually make that an in-class problem.
Oh my.
Let's figure it out. All right, I want you to, on your own, if this is equilateral, how many degrees are in each angle?
60. Done.
Just because you heard somebody say it doesn't mean it's right.
It is right though.
It is
That's right. No matter what. So six times 3
Because
equals
if it's a
18.
line,
Alright.
I even did
Kylie says they're all
How's
60.
that?
Explain it for us, Kylie. How are they all 60?
Yeah, Kylie, let's
Out
hear
loud
it.
for everybody. You got this. What is it?
Because each triangle equals 180.
Because I said so.
So 180 divided
There you go. Alright, so these are
That
all
was
going to be
touched.
60 if it is
Touch.
equilateral. And each equiangular.
Touch me.
So each angle has 60 degrees.
Oh, I did not know
So
that.
keep that in mind because some questions are going to ask you, and you're going to have to need to know that in equilateral everything is 60 degrees.
Ooh, I did not know that. I told you not know this.
Hey, Chloe, can I run the pen? Cool.
I told you
That's
not
just
know that.
Alright. For your guys' next
Can I have one of your black
Next
ones?
in-class problem, this one was kind of a lame one. I want you to, this time, I do want you to make a two-column proof. I want you to prove these two triangles are congruent. So on your own, prove these two triangles are congruent. Do it on your own, then check with your partner. We will talk about some of the reasoning for this here soon. So if you're not quite sure about the reason, that's okay. We'll talk about them.
Wait. Prove the triangle.
I want you to prove these two triangles are congruent.
If I do that, I might have to put a whole sentence. Because I could just say it right away.
Wait, what?
Wait,
A whole
wait.
sentence.
I don't
I would
know.
say A, B, and C
What did you
is
again?
congruent to
So,
A, D,
I'll give you
B.
guys a hint to get
Because-
started.
Wait, we have to write two column proof?
Yes. two-column proof. There are other kinds of proofs, but we're pretty much going to stick with two-column proofs.
Is there a
just to
3-1?
No.
3 column proof?
No, there's also, I don't remember exactly what they're called, but it's basically like a paragraph where you explain everything in a sentence. So like when we go through a proof and we would say something like angle A is congruent to angle B because it's given, we would literally write out the whole sentence.
Wow.
There's also like a flow
We
chart
saw
proof
that,
with a
right?
bunch of arrows and stuff. And it's kind of like a two-column proof, but it's more spread out, it's more space to write.
And you got this one, Caleb? I did both.
This one's so easy.
What you want?
Yeah, how much is the...
Wait, so I would put.
It was just.
So yeah, actually, it's missing that.
You know what? I haven't seen you in like
I would have proved
3 years.
trying
Where were
to
you
find
before?
Oh,
Exaggerate.
You know what I mean?
ASA,
Been a while. Been a long while.
ASA,
Yeah,
SSS. Yeah, ASS is not fine.
Would it just be SSS?
Looking at.
That's the way. Yeah. Okay, side, angle, side. Angle like this. Gotta use one of the four. So figure out which one of the four. So to give you a hint, show what's equal on both things first. Like write them down. See what's equal first.
Side, angle. Pretty much both.
Just kidding.
Pretty much you can use both on this. You can use angle, or side, pretty much.
I know.
Pretty much.
You're off to a good start.
I do
Ours
a good
is
thing.
as well.
I know I got all of them right, so I got 70%.
What about it? I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but why?
Around.
Side. Or angle.
Sure.
Pretty much.
But like, I need help finding
You don't even do the mouth thing though. You're like,
Actually,
you
nice
look like this.
Don't do it again.
Touch shotgun. That's no.
Just practice doing it. We just did it right now.
I know. Watch Kylie.
Do it, Kylie.
Watch the video. Oh no, wait, no. Thursday we did.
It's so
We had a
funny.
practice paper.
Just
Just
do
going
it,
with
Kylie.
different
Yeah,
form
no.
methods. I think I've got. I might have extra I can find. No, I'll print off there.
That's beautiful. Holy crap.
I'll show you the video later.
No, this my.
No,
this
watch
thing does the
Kylie.
same thing.
Do it, Kylie. Come on now.
Just do it.
All right.
Swear to
That's it,
God,
go.
One time.
pissing me off.
Take my
One.
Nah, Tyler stole them. I took them back.
How does
Do it. Just like.
You got the other pair.
All right, headphones off. We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
I borrowed.
So, Tyler, headphones out. Take them off. Krista T, please.
I'm already done with all this. I'm already done.
Good. Then we're almost done.
I'm done.
Still doing the lesson. Take them off.
I'm done. That's the lesson.
All right, help us out, Trista. Then. So, what do we know in here? So let's go through and fill in our stuff. So give me something we're missing, or we can fill in.
All the sides are equal.
Okay.
It's equilateral triangle.
Because ABC is equilateral, right? So we're gonna have 3, 3, 3. All right. Caleb, give me something else we're
This is
missing.
what it is.
Like,
Hey, Chloe.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Give me something else we know in here.
Yeah. I could just put one sentence in this and don't even have to write down.
Maybe look at the
everything
right
or
triangle.
everything.
The right side's 3.
Okay. Which parts?
60, 60,
QE. What about BE?
Yeah.
Yep. Because how do you know?
Because it's given.
Not quite.
Ooh, I
Because
know.
equilateral.
Because it's equilateral. Well, it's equiangular, which means it's also equilateral. If you got one, you got the other. All right. So we have enough information in here. So let's go through. I don't remember where we're. Now we'll just keep on. Chloe, give me the first line.
I don't got the first line.
Well, make one up then.
DB equals, or AB equals BE.
Okay. Because.
They're the same length.
So this is where it gets a little tougher to say. I would say same length. We could actually go through and say
Same line.
AB and CB equal 3 because it's equilateral, and we can do the same thing on this one. We can like explain that up here, but I'm not going to have you guys go into that much detail right now.
Okay, so my answer was
We're just going to
correct.
say same length. I
Okay.
just wanted you guys to know. We could go into more detail, but I'm not going to make
Too
it.
much bigger in between.
I should. But I won't. Against my better judgment, I will be nice.
But this
I
makes
hit my
sense.
All right, come on, give me another piece we know is equal.
Yes.
45, 67. A C.
Okay, and
Murder.
What crazy.
Murder. BD.
close.
A.
It would be right, except
Yeah.
Chloe chose weird sides.
A.
So Chloe said,
Stop.
Oh, wait.
"Oh no,
D,
you are right. No,
D.
come on, you are right.
I
You are
said
right.
D.
Yeah.
No, it's BD. You're right. You're
Nah,
right.
bro, nah, bro, you lying now.
I thought Chloe did A, C, and B, E, but I was wrong.
What?
So I thought she did this side and this side.
No compliment, you know.
I was wrong. That was my bad.
I did that all by myself, bro. Or not, bro.
So those two are equal because they are the
It's
same
karma.
length.
Believe my answer, bro.
And then our last one, Carissa, what's our last part?
Race car.
Wait, I have a question.
B and D.
I have a question.
Yes, Chloe.
So like, okay, wait, let me think about it. So, okay,
My answer.
since like they're both the outsides are the same, does that mean like the angles are the same too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'll
So-
talk about that in a second.
See, that's what I
This
did.
paragraph,
So
I
under
want to do
under
that.
two column proof,
I
you
didn't
can
want
put
to
the
put it in
like
one
an
sentence.
angle and a length and an angle, or no?
You can do what? So,
You
just
can-
say it again.
You could put an angle on a length and an angle, or a side.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. So this left triangle is equilateral, right? Which means it's also equiangular. And then we got all the sides the same. So equilateral triangles are kind of special because you can actually use whatever method you want. So we did side, side, side. So that's my final part here. ABC is congruent to BED by side, side, side. But I could have gone side, side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. Or I could have gone angle, angle, side. Or I could have gone angle, side, angle. I could actually use any of our 4 methods on equilateral triangles. Any 4. We just have to make sure we list the right things. So I listed 3 sides, which means my method is side, side, side. If I did angle, side, angle, that would be my method, ASA. So equilateral, they're kind of special. You can do whatever you want. All right. That is it for us. So I think to make your exit ticket a little bit easier,
We're doing just
Do
one.
just A and B.
yeah, we'll probably do A and B.
Number 1, A and B.
Yeah. Just cut it down a little bit. I want to give you guys some more time to work on it. So for your exit ticket, skip problem 2 here.
Here, problem 2.
Okay.
Just do A and B. I will turn on Socrative in just a second, and then you guys can start on your homework after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
For this.
You guys are
Yeah, I'll
stupid.
get